Good evening. My name is Myhaylo Videiko. I am working at the Institute of Archaeology of National Academy of Sciences of Ukraine. I am archaeologist. I am digging at this country more than 40 years, studying the ancient cultures and prehistory of this land. Now we are sitting at the central part of Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, on Podil. History of this place started not even at Middle Ages, but many thousand years ago. More than 20,000 years ago, first people appeared at this area, which settled some small camp on the bank of Dnieper. It was at the end of Stone Age, and it was time when first people settled the area of Ukraine. At this period, they created first masterpieces of art, famous figurines and decorated bones from Myhaylo, you know. That's interesting, that ornament, decoration of these bracelets which were found at Myhaylo are similar to paintings or decoration of Neolithic pottery, which appeared much later at 5th, 6th millennium BC at this land. It's interesting that over this camp of Paleolithic hunters, archaeologist from Kiev, Myhaylo Videiko, he discovered the settlement of the first farmers at this area. Now we call these farmers Trypillians, according to the name of a small village Trypillia to the south of Kiev. These people, they were the first real farmers at Ukrainian land. They created on area between Carpathians and Dnieper more than 2,000 settlements. Some of them were too big that were comparable with Kiev at Middle Ages. For example, large site near Maidanetsk, which had around 200 hectares and more than 10,000 population at the first half of the 4th millennium BC. You can ask me, what is between Paleolithic hunters and Trypillia farmers and contemporary Ukrainians? Answer is very interesting. My good friend, biologist Alex Nikitin, he worked at Michigan Grand Valley University in the United States. He studied DNA of contemporary Ukrainians and a lot of samples from ancient burials from area of Ukraine, including Trypillia culture. Answer was very interesting because according to DNA of mothers, ancestors of contemporary Trypillians lived starting from Stone Age at this area. So from some point of view, it's the same people who settled this area for last 20,000 years, including all cultures, all nations which lived between this during this large period. What's interesting, there is a lot of similarities of spiritual art in Paleolithic, of Trypillia culture, very similar decoration and arts. It means that the spirit of this land survived for many thousand years. In Bronze Age, this area was settled by people who left thousands of kurgans, burial mounds in Ukrainian steppe and forest steppe zone. They also were farmers, cattle breeders, craftsmen, warriors. Different people were buried under these burial mounds during 1,000 years of Bronze Age. Really, this land became known for other people from Iron Age, when first Greek towns appeared at the south in Pontic steppes. But at this time, Pontic steppes were settled by other nomad people, which are known as Scythians. Scythians left for us tons of gold jewelry, which also were excavated in ancient kurgans. And it's interesting that to the north of this area settled by nomads, at the same time in 6th and 5th centuries BC appeared many also large fortified cities in which local population developed crafts, trade with other people who lived around them. And they have contacts with Central Europe, with Greece and other places. Other interesting historical period in Ukrainian era is the first centuries AD. It was a time when from north came the warlike Goth people, which are known in European history after the wars against the Roman Empire. With Sarmatians, they conquered a lot of lands, and Gothic kingdoms appeared in Italy, in Spain. All you know about maybe Sarmatians, which served in Roman army in northern Britain, and maybe the legend about these steppe knights, warriors, became the fundament of the legends about one famous British king and his sword Excalibur. It's a history in which all countries are closely connected in ancient times. And much later, at the end of the 10th century AD, on these hills appeared a large city. And also it was not only a political center. Kiev was a capital of a large country, boundaries of which in east were in a country which now we call Russia, in west they were close to Carpathians. And Kiev was not only the political but a spiritual capital of all these Slavic and non-Slavic tribes. On these mountains, Kiev Prince Vladimir, at first he founded a sanctuary of traditional gods, but 10 years later he destroyed it and erected first Christian temples. And from this time Kiev became a holy city of three modern European nations: Ukrainian, Belarusians and Russians. Old temples of Kiev became a place to which people come from all these countries, and the memory of Kiev as the first capital of a large country which called Rus and under this name come into European history until now live in their mind. Now Ukraine have hard times. We struggle for our independence, and we must remember that we not yesterday appeared on this land. We have a long and complicated but heroic history, and it's our land. Thank you for attention.